for this meeting. Hosting this meeting is to introduce you new professionals who are experienced in various fields, so that they can share their knowledge, they can share their experiences, and who are the audience can be a fresher, can be job hunters, or can be experienced guys. Those want to, they can learn from them. So that was the objective for this. So today we have Mr. Yunus as a meet the professional, and he is into digital marketing since last 15 years. So he's going to talk about what is digital marketing and what is the career scope. And Mr. Yunus, over to you.
All right, Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to today's session. So, inshallah, I'll be talking about a bit about digital marketing, what it entails, what's the scope of it, and the career opportunities and the paths that you can take in this, if this sounds interesting to you, inshallah. All right, so a little bit about me before we start this session. You all know my name already, it's Yunus, and I've been into digital marketing for 16 years now. So I started in 2005 for my dad's company. He's into herbal medicines and all that. So I used to promote him on Google. And this was before I joined Google, which was about a year later in 2006, and then worked there for 4 years. I was part of the Google Ads team. So basically, I was into training agencies in Australia and New Zealand on how to effectively create campaigns that make an impact and how to optimize them. And then I started my own agency in 2010, and I've been doing that ever since, alhamdulillah. So yeah, that's a bit about me. So let's just dive into the subject. And yeah, if anyone has any questions on the way, feel free to stop me and ask me for any clarifications. All right, so let's get going, Bismillah. All right, so digital marketing, I mean, this presentation will basically cover two aspects. One is to understand what digital marketing is, the different aspects of it, of course. And the other is to understand what a digital marketer does with all this information and with all this knowledge. So one is the theory and the other is the practical implementation part of it. So I'll be dealing with, mostly it's going to be the digital marketing part that we're going to dive into. And then a little bit about what digital marketers do, what are the skill sets required, the aptitude, to get into this, and the career paths, of course. So, all right. So what is digital marketing? So here are a couple of definitions that you can read on the screen right now. It'll give you an idea. So the first one says digital marketing is marketing of products and services using digital technologies on the internet through mobile phone apps, or display advertising, or any other digital mediums. So basically this is it. I mean, anything that has to do with digital products where you can actually promote and advertise whatever you do, be it your business, or even it can be your NGO, anything at all. It doesn't necessarily have to be of a monetary nature. A lot of you probably seen a lot of these NGOs who take care of people who have health issues. You see those ads keep popping up, and you have people promoting their music, not for any monetary gain, but just to showcase their talent. So this is a medium that you can use to just about promote anything. And what the digital aspect of this means is that you are basically targeting people who are using these devices that are connected to the internet, and because they are engaged much more than how passive advertising works, the impact is much greater. So that's basically what digital marketing is about, using these channels to get your message across in a short and sweet way to put it. So okay, let me see if I've missed anything here. No, I think it's pretty much it. So we'll talk about all these different aspects of it, like search engines, social media, email, etc., in the slides to come. But you get the basic idea here, the basic definition of what digital marketing is. So it's promotion on any of the digital channels that we use nowadays. You can see these logos on the left of this page here, and that's basically where most of the action happens. Google is missing here, so I guess it doesn't encompass everything, but you get the idea. So how is this different from, traditional marketing? I mean, we're millennials, most of us, so we know the traditional marketing efforts. We've seen that on TV. We've seen the billboards. We grew up seeing these things, and then the age of the internet came in. So we still have this marketing, the traditional marketing that happens, these billboards that you see, the TV ads that you see on TV. So what's the difference between this and the digital part of it? So both of them come under the bracket of marketing, but we call this traditional because it's always been there. And then the new part is called the digital marketing part. So the key difference between these two is that traditional marketing is, number one, very expensive. And number two, there is no real way to actually measure the success that you get from your traditional marketing effort. So say you have a billboard at a very popular junction in Hyderabad. So there are thousands of people, riding their cars and motorcycles, and some people notice it, some people don't. So there's actually no way of measuring how many people actually, saw the ad, read it, and understood it. I mean, people are going about on their business. It's really passive in nature when you look at it that way. So especially, I mean, people would notice it if there's a traffic stop there and they stop and they kind of look around and they see a billboard, and that's kind of a passive way of approaching people. And a lot of people who actually see those might not even be interested and might not even be in the market for those things. And this is really what makes it distinct from digital marketing. In digital marketing, you actually have a lot of control in terms of, number one, how much you spend on your advertising. Is not as expensive as billboards, and we all know how billboards and TV advertising costs these days. So with digital, every business has the ability to actually set their own budgets. So what they can do is they don't really have to, dedicate or there's no commitment to a really high budget that you need to spend to be able to get on the number one spot at Google. So you could have a really small budget, like say 1,000 rupees per day or even 500 rupees per day. And for a few moments during that day, you will be on the number one spot for someone looking for you. So I'll go into those details when we are going to talk about these individual types of platforms. But this is just to give you an idea of how this is different. And the measuring aspect is also really important. Under digital marketing, we have analytics tools which we can use to measure how many people actually saw the ad, how many people clicked it, and how many people ended up doing what you wanted them to do on your website. So sometimes it can be a sale. You want someone to buy something. In a lot of instances, it's just to generate leads. You want people to contact your business for a service that you offer. And sometimes it can also be, just getting your brand out there, getting people to know you, getting people to know that you're there, you're a player in this field, and you want to showcase what your products are all about, and not necessarily a sale. It's just to influence people in the long run. So all these things are measurable under digital marketing, but under the traditional marketing efforts, you really don't know how many people actually saw the ad. If somebody did actually end up buying because of the ad, you would never know unless you ask them. So, and that's a really, really monumental task to actually get that data when it comes to traditional marketing. So, yeah, anyone have questions? I think someone needs to mute themselves here. Okay, anyways. So why does digital marketing matter? Well, as you can see, it's an industry that's growing exponentially. It was pretty tiny when it started out, but now you can see year on year, there's a lot of ad spending that's happening. A lot of companies are spending on digital advertising, right from the small ones to the big ones. This is, again, a distinguishing factor from traditional marketing. In traditional marketing, you'll hardly find any local businesses advertising on TV or on billboards. It's mostly the big players that you see utilizing the traditional marketing channels. But on digital, it's everyone. So everyone has a good opportunity to actually compete. Of course, the amount of budget that you allocate does impact the overall exposure that your brand gets. That's true for any marketing effort. But at the end of the day, based on your business size, you can have a decent marketing budget and make an impact, and regardless of what the big ones are doing out there. So as you can see on this slide here, it's pretty big, the value of digital marketing industry. And you can see the share of advertisement on digital media in 2020. There's 25,200 crores, and 20 lakh jobs were expected to be produced in India by 2020. And this was pre the COVID thing. So I'm sure this number is a bit different because everyone got impacted by that. But there's still opportunity out there, which we will discuss by the end of this presentation, inshallah. So, and yeah, what the last part says here is what actually makes this a really promising industry, especially after what's happened post the geo introduction into the market, the geo mobile introduction. So people really got hooked on the internet. So they're now used to spending a lot of, and the number of internet users is just growing year on year. So that's a huge market that is virtually untapped, and we can definitely get into this using these tools. Another aspect is, like with digital marketing, you can target people anywhere in India. With traditional marketing, it's more of a location specific thing. If it's billboards and if it's TV advertising, then people in villages have a different kind of viewership than people in cities. So then you have to kind of differentiate that as well when you're planning your traditional marketing. But in digital, you can have everything in one go. You can target the villages as well as the cities. Anyone with an internet connection will be able to see your ads if you plan it that way. All right. So here again, a few differences that are listed here. In digital marketing, it's like you're focused on the people's interest. What are they into? What are they looking at right now? What kind of mindset is that user in? That is something that you can zero in on with digital marketing. With traditional marketing, it's not so much the case, because it's more like a shotgun approach, as people like to call it. So basically, when you fire a shotgun, the ammunition inside it actually spreads out, and it kind of casts a net to target as many people as possible, in the hope that someone who is actually in that mindset of wanting your product will actually react to it. Whereas in digital marketing, it's more like a sniper approach. So you know who to target, who is potentially a customer that would be interested in buying your product or trying it out, and then you target them specifically. So that makes your efforts much more focused on the return on your investment, which is called ROI in digital marketing and traditional marketing jargon. So it's very focused on performance and results. So that's how digital marketing distinguishes itself from traditional marketing. So again, the first point is communication is interactive and two-way. In traditional marketing, is just a one-way communication where people see the ad on TV. There's no way to react to it unless you go to the store or you go to a website that's advertised, and then the communication starts. But on digital marketing, they just click your ad, they're on your website, and then you can start interacting with them through chat, or even they could call you up through the ad itself. We have all these mediums in digital marketing. And the good part is customers come to you instead of you going to the customers. So basically, on Google, when usually somebody's searching for something, it is when they need that product. They already know that they want it, and that's the reason why they're on Google searching for it. So as the saying goes, hit it while the iron is hot. That kind of applies to this scenario, because like for example, if someone is searching for apartments to rent in Toli Choki, for example. So right then and there, you can show him an ad which actually lists all the potential apartments that he can look at in the Toli Choki area. That person is very likely to actually, convert and become a buying customer, a prospect, basically. So that is something that is not possible when it comes to traditional marketing. So you can print, as many classifieds as you want in a newspaper, uh, and people might just glance it and go to the next page. So there are a lot of impressions that happen in traditional marketing that are absolutely useless. So that is something that is cut out when it comes to digital marketing, and that's what makes it really efficient and effective. Okay, so we've already covered the measurable part. So we have tools, like I said, in digital marketing where you can actually measure uh, how many people come to your site, how much time they spend, which pages do they visit, what actions do they do, which buttons they click, on which, so there's a flow on your website that you want a user to go through a couple of pages and then the checkout page. So you can actually study the entire path using analytics. And if users are, exiting your website at a specific point, you can actually, work on that, work on improving that. If there's something wrong with your website, you would know. So these tools are really, really effective in terms of, measurability. And that's what distinguishes it from traditional marketing, where there's absolutely no measurement at all, unless there's a survey done. And inexpensive, we've already covered that, and easy to test and pivot. So basically, one part of traditional marketing is like once you have a billboard in place, that's it. You can't really change it and you can't really test it with different variants. That's going to be there for a month or two, depending on how long you have your contract with the billboard guy. And the same goes for TV. I mean, once you've shot your ad, edited it, you've sent it to the TV channel, and they start playing it. So the most they do is cut it short to save their expenses, but you can't really change the overall message. But with digital marketing, it's really easy to test different types of ads on the go every day. At any minute, you can add a new variation of your ad, try a different kind of messaging. In one ad, you highlight one aspect of your business. In the other ad, you highlight another aspect, and see which message actually gets you more traction, which message gets you a better response from users, and then focus on that, and then test it against something else. So this is something called A/B testing or split testing in digital marketing, and it's something which is a really, really powerful feature, which allows you to, again, optimize and refine your advertising efforts. So these are the main channels or modules when it comes to digital marketing. Search engine optimization. This is when you actually put in effort to kind of increase the ranking of your website on search engines. So whenever you search on Google, there are typically two things that you would see. The first is usually an ad related to what you're searching for. And that usually gets the top spots. And then at the bottom, you see these organic search results. And those organic search results aren't paid, they're free. So Google indexes your websites and all the other websites out there that are relevant to that specific search, and then shows the user and then ranks those websites based on how Google thinks that content is relevant and popular. So that's the first aspect, and that's really popular. It's something that's changing and evolving because Google's algorithm also changes. But we're not going to go into much detail. Just a really brief overview of each of these types of marketing modules, so we have a brief understanding of what this is. And then there's content marketing, where you're creating valuable content like videos, blog posts, articles that you share on all your possible digital platforms. So you can share it on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Twitter, and even on your YouTube channel. So all the content that you make, the idea with content marketing is to get that content out there to the people who might be interested in what you produce. So that's the gist of content marketing. And then we have social media marketing. So this ties into content marketing. Basically, you promote your content on social media, and then you market it using the said social media as an advertising platform. So Facebook, for example, has a really powerful advertising platform where you can target users, not based on intent like you do on search, but it's based on their demographic profile and their interests. So a lot of times people do, based on how they interact with the platform, what they like, what they're talking about, the pages that they like, their age, their gender, all this data is what Facebook stores about you. And they use that and they sell that to advertising companies, who in turn target the people who are most likely to engage with what they have to offer. So this is really powerful because you have so much information that you can work with. And if you know who your typical demographic target market is, you can specify exactly who you want to target. And Facebook will make sure that your ads only show up to those kind of users. And that again ensures that you get a really good response rate from your marketing efforts there. And that's what the whole controversy is about, by the way, about the kind of data that Facebook has and how they sell it to people. So basically, if a product is free to use, then you are, if a platform is free to use, basically you are the product. So your data is what Facebook is using to give information to these advertising companies who basically advertise to you. And then there's pay-per-click, and we kind of discussed that a bit, how someone searches on Google and then they see relevant ads. So whatever you see on the top usually, and these days what's popular is those shopping ads. You see a product with an image and a price and the website where it's listed, and you see those on top. And then sometimes below that you also see some text ads, which are just text without any images. And then below that you see those organic search results, which are free. So pay-per-click is basically search what you are paying per click on a search engine, or even on social media like Facebook and Twitter, where you have an ad and the ad points to your website. So whenever somebody clicks on your ad, you pay per click and you get them to visit your website, and then with the intention of getting them to do what you want to do, what you want them to do, basically. That's pay-per-click. And then the last two, we have email marketing, which is again a very effective tool. So people usually start with building an email marketing list, and people who visit your website, they sign up for a newsletter, or they submit their email address to get something like a free download, or to get in touch with you for details on your services, and then they kind of agree to receive your promotions and communications in the future. So that is what you use to kind of remind users about your service, about any new features, new products that you've launched. And it's much more effective because there's no cost involved, there's no cost per click, and there's no budgets that you need for email marketing. So it's basically someone who's already given you their email address with permission for marketing, and then you reach out to them with your new offers. And it's effective because they already know your brand, and your email marketing content, your email content can be extremely personalized based on their name and their likes and whatever they've purchased on your website historically. You can use that to kind of pitch in additional ideas for them. So that's email marketing. And then the final bit is affiliate marketing, where you actually promote someone else's product through any of these marketing channels, and then you get a commission for any sales that happen. So this is affiliate marketing. It's sharing of profits between the one who's producing the product and the marketers out there. So any questions so far, just let me know. Okay, so just a brief look into what search engine optimization is. So I already kind of gave you a brief overview. So here's an example of two links that you see. They are not ads because under advertisements that you see on Google, you will see a small text that says ad. So basically they are required by law to distinguish ads from the free organic results. So initially Google used to have these ad blocks in a slightly different color, a yellowish color. But now they have changed it to look a lot like the organic results because they don't want people to distinguish between the two. So I know they used to say don't be evil, but now they are a bit of evil, you can say, and they've actually removed that motto from their company. So kind of explains things. So anyways, so like here's an example of somebody searching for how to get backlinks. So backlinks is a process of getting other websites to link to your website, and that in turn helps you increase in ranking. whenever somebody searches for something that's relevant on your website. So the more people pointing back to your site, the higher your website will rank. So obviously the quality of those backlinks is also checked. I mean, if you get a lot of links from trash websites, it doesn't really help you at all. So those websites that are actually linking back to you should have, a good standing with Google. So they should be good content producers as well. And the more links you get from those websites, the better you will rank. So that's the first part of search engine optimization. All right. So what is this saying here? Okay, yeah. So it's basically getting your website to rank higher. So a couple of things here. The first thing is on-page SEO. So what you can do on your website itself to help it, get a better ranking. So the first and foremost things are, getting your titles right. And there's something called meta description, which is shown here at the bottom of the blue link on Google. So whatever text you see below the links is usually the meta description that you add on your website itself. So Google takes that and tries to highlight that. So the more relevant your meta description and your title tag is to what people are searching for, the higher your chances of getting noticed on the Google search results page. And that's the whole point of SEO, to get a higher ranking and to get visibility. And if you get more clicks than your competitors, Google will actually increase your rankings and eventually get you to the top if you are doing the best in terms of performance. So like I just said, if your title tags and meta descriptions are more compelling, that you can get a higher click-through rates, and Google is all about providing better user experience. So if users find your listing relevant and better than the others, Google is going to push you up and you're going to get better rankings overall. So that's why that's usually the first step in getting your SEO rankings higher. The second is off-page SEO. So basically what we just spoke about, link building. So that's getting backlinks to your website, posting on blogs and forums about what you offer, and then a link back. That kind of helps. Social bookmarking. So basically anybody who's on social media talking about your website, sharing your website, that kind of starts tells Google and tells these platforms how important your website is. And of course, through YouTube and video advertising, you can also get your content popularized and get a lot of people to notice it. So basically, this is it, how the off-page effort. So we spoke about already how we kind of use SEO for on-page optimizations, and this is the off-page part of it, the things that happen outside of your website. So these are the basic components of it. And once you get deep into the SEO part, you'll know how to handle each of these aspects and get your website's ranking improved. So this is something that's measurable. You have tools that actually tell you where traffic is coming from and what kind of sources are most popular in terms of quality of users, and that tells you where you should focus your efforts more on. So basically, if you notice that social media is getting you a lot of traffic compared to the other aspects, and although that traffic is really converting as well, getting you more sales and leads, then that's an indication that that's where you need to focus on and to get the bang for your buck, basically. All right. So content marketing, as mentioned earlier, is something where you're producing content, be it blog posts or articles or videos, and then the intention and the objective of this is to get people to understand what you're promoting and to get them to visit your website and drive profitable customer action, basically. So Google always has this catchphrase. It says content is king. So what they really value at the end of the day is the quality of content that you produce. So it's not just the links and the titles and stuff. That's important from the customer's point of view, but what Google really looks at is also your content. So you can have all those good backlinks and all the titles and everything else that's external to your website, but if your content, for example, is plagiarized from somewhere else, Google won't rank your website higher, even though the other factors are really good. So what you need to make sure is that your content is unique, it adds value, people like it, people come back to it. So that kind of tells Google that, okay, this is something that's interesting and people like it, and we should focus on sending people more to this website. So the more content you produce, the more you get indexed on Google, more of your pages are on Google's search results, and the more traffic you can expect. So according to HubSpot, which is a really good tool which you can use to basically manage how you put out your content, you can schedule your content and then uh, post it across different platforms using these tools. They say that at least 16 plus content pieces per month will help you drive much more traffic than those that don't actually produce new content. So, right. So not we're discussing the different content types, what you can do, and the effectiveness of this of these activities, and the cost, basically how much you can expect to spend when you're trying to produce this content. So so this chart basically is showing you what is more effective versus less effective from top to bottom, and then what is expensive to what is lesser in terms of costs from left to right. All right. So basically, if you want to produce books or an electronic book, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of time and energy, and also if you're hiring people to write that, that's going to cost you money. So they're expensive, but they are really effective in terms of getting your message out there. So again, the second aspect of this is like producing videos, infographics, things that require some sort of skill and talent to produce, obviously would cost money. And that is what this chart says. So that kind of content is good, it's effective, but it's difficult to make and expensive. So, but people still do it. I mean, so you have to basically prioritize how you want to schedule your content. So you have these blog posts, articles, status updates, etc., that you see on the bottom right side, which are easy to do. You don't require a lot of time and effort and money to do these, but they're less effective. So you have to increase the frequency of these less effective ones so that you can get your message across and do more, because it's cheaper and faster. And you can have a bit of this as well to kind of balance between these two. So all of this is the different kind of content marketing that you can do. And if you have this in mind, you can, when you go online the next time and you go on Facebook or even on YouTube, you see those ads popping up, you'll understand, the kind of effort that people have put in to get that message across to you. And they think you are a potential customer. That's the reason why the message is coming to you. And so, but you'll if you go to the page of those companies, the Facebook page, you'll see that they have much more in terms of pictures, status updates, posts, emails, etc., compared to these more expensive aspects of content generation. But again, it's all about striking a balance and getting the message across. So the reasons why people do this is to create brand identity and awareness, credibility, trustworthiness. So basically, the more you hear about a brand, the more familiarity it builds, and familiarity leads to trust. Okay, so it's not like a video ad or an infographic is gonna convince you that these guys are legit or genuine, but it's just the fact that you have seen them over and over again, which kind of creates familiarity. And those who study psychology know that familiarity kind of breeds trustworthiness. So you kind of oh, I know this company, I recognize this company, I've seen them before. And that is according to research in marketing, a very decisive factor when it comes to someone deciding whether to use a company's services or to purchase their product online. So say for example, you're on Google and you search for a service, you want say you want to buy a car or something. When you see an ad from a company that that you are familiar with, you are more likely to click on their ad and complete the purchase, rather than some company you never heard of before. So that's why brand identity and trustworthiness is really important. So those are the primary factors why content marketing is done. The others are also important, but they're not as important as the first two aspects. So you build an email list through content marketing. Sometimes you don't give out that content unless somebody signs up for your on your website first. That's one of the more common tactics to get someone's email address. Again, it's also to position yourself as a leader. I mean, if you want to show yourself as someone who is leading the industry in terms of thought, in terms of innovation, it's a great way to put your content out and show people what you're doing. And of course, the other aspects are relevant for other channels as well, to connect with your audience, to increase sales and leads, and to monetize. But I wouldn't really focus on the bottom three because they are kind of similar across the board. So we've already spoken about this. Once you have your content in place, you can schedule them. You don't want to, like, if you have 10 articles ready, you don't publish them all together at once. You kind of schedule them, like every 3 days you get a new article out there. So those 10 articles, maybe you take a month to get them across to your desired audience. So you don't want to flood people with a lot of information, a lot of new content to see on a daily basis, because there's a really fine line between content marketing and spam. So you don't want to really spam your users. You don't want them to get annoyed by seeing your brand every day just pop up whenever they log into Facebook or Twitter. So you really want to make sure that the frequency of your ads are in the healthy area. You don't want it to be very less frequent that people forget about you, and you don't want it to be so frequent that it starts annoying people. So you need to kind of make sure and find what your sweet spot is. And then there are tools, like I said, Hubspot is a good tool to kind of get that content across, and it helps with your overall business objectives of getting traffic, sales, or leads. Okay, social media marketing, we've already discussed a bit about this. It's basically whatever you have, your content on social media, your promos, your products, whatever you have listed on social media, you can promote all of this using really powerful tools that you get from these social media platforms. And you can promote your products and engage with your customers. You can listen to what they're saying. A lot of times you'll see calling a company isn't as effective as just getting in touch with them on social media, especially if it's a public post. You'll see these companies really being quick in getting back to you when you engage with them on Twitter and Facebook. I've personally felt that if something goes wrong with my internet connection, if I call them up, I have to wait like 20 minutes just to get to someone, and then they kind of take care of that after that. But if you just have a simple Twitter post or a Facebook post tagging them, you'll see that they take care of it immediately. They notice your complaint, and but by the time you know it, your problem is solved. So it's a really good tool to get in touch with your customers, get feedback, see what they're saying, improve your product, taking that feedback in, and then continuing your marketing efforts based on all of this data and information that you get. So we're going to talk about what the key performance indicators are for all these different marketing platforms and modules. Key performance indicators, KPIs, is what we call them in the digital marketing jargon. And so basically, those are the metrics that you look at to understand what's working well and what's not. So we'll look at that later. But for now, you kind of have an idea of what social media marketing is all about. It's managing your profile, managing what people are saying about you. So whenever somebody mentions your brand on a social media platform, they tag you, so you know what kind of word is out there, what people are talking about in terms of your brand, how they perceive it, and what you can do to kind of improve this perception. Right. So this is just what I said. A business that is concerned about what people are saying will automatically be really focused on what's going on social media. So this all ties down to how you manage your social media and how you engage with your people, engage with the customers and your user base. Also, this social media marketing platform is a good way to analyze and look at your data, what kind of reach you have, what kind of engagement, how many people see your ad, how many people engage with it. This kind of data also tells you whether your marketing message is good, if it's average or below average, and then you can make adjustments accordingly, test different ads. So this is just about what social media marketing is about. What does the last point say? A business that wants to reach a specific set of audience at scale would run highly targeted social media ads. Yes, this is something that I've already said. Demographic targeting. You can specify age, gender, location, interests, education level, employment, uh, income, and all these factors. You can specify what you are looking for in terms of your target audience, and Facebook will make sure that your ads are only shown to those people who fit that description, which makes sure that you get a really good response from your marketing efforts. So these are the biggest platforms right now: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. So I'm sure all of you are familiar with this. TikTok was banned recently, but it was actually growing in terms of an advertising platform. A lot of companies were advertising on TikTok because especially it was popular in the rural areas of India. But because of that ban, the spending has again gone back to YouTube and Facebook. But yeah, I mean, the moment it's going to be back, we're going to see the shift again. So a good strategy is always to understand where your target audience is more likely to be. If it's youngsters, young people, you'll mostly find them on Instagram, on Snapchat, or TikTok. Millennials or older, you'll find them on Facebook. A lot of new generational internet users are moving away from Facebook and preferring Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. So it's always good to know where you are most likely to find your target audience. So if you're targeting kids on LinkedIn, it's not going to work because you're just going to find people who are in that mature mindset about career growth, business, marketing, and getting more sales. And those kind of people will be more tailored to campaigns that are focused on something that's appealing to that. So you always find ads on LinkedIn are related to business and not related to something else. It's rare that you find an ad on LinkedIn that's talking about something completely unrelated to business. So the mindset of the users and the typical demographic of each profile is important to understand when you're marketing here. And this is another really important thing that you should keep in mind: social media trends. So when these platforms started out, the reach that you used to get, like for example, if a page had 1,000 likes, any post that you would make would have something that would honestly reflect those 1,000 likes that you already have. So the amount of reactions that you would typically get would be in line with what your page stats say. But what these social media giants are now doing is they are reducing the level of engagement and reach that you used to get with simply an organic post. So say, for example, you just post a status update on Facebook. Even if you have 100,000 followers, you're just going to get a few likes. So this is a deliberate move on the part of these social media companies just to make sure that you spend money on their profile to get your message across. So what they do is, if you've actually done this before, you'll see that whenever you make a post, you'll get a few likes, and then a few hours later, you'll see Facebook, reminding you of that post and saying, hey, why don't you just boost this post so that it reaches more people? And the primary audience they're gonna reach are those who've actually already liked your page. So they kind of are forcing you to pay to get your message across to those who already like your page. And then, of course, there's an aspect of reaching out to those who haven't liked your page, and that's where you actually want them to come to your page, find out about your business, follow your page or like it, and then engage with them later on. But all of this is with the one goal in mind: to increase revenue for these social media giants. And as you can see in the graph, the engagement levels have gone consistently down. And I've personally also noticed this in terms of how this happens when you post on Facebook or even Instagram these days. If you really want high engagement, you gotta open up your pockets and shell money. So gone are the days where just organic posting would do the trick. You just need to spend more money and have a budget for this as well. Okay, PPC or pay-per-click is exactly what, as the name suggests, we just discussed this as well. So when users pay for every click, when we pay for every click a user makes as an advertiser, that's called pay-per-click advertising. So it's done on primarily on search engines, but also on social media as well. So this is I would say that this is a relatively old uh, term to describe the kind of marketing that's being done, because right now we do call it PPC, pay per click, but the focus is shifting from paying per click to focusing on how much you're paying per sale or per lead. So it's called CPA, which is cost per acquisition. So how much a company pays for each prospective client that contacts them, or each sale that happens to the websites. These are the new metrics that people are focusing on. But as a general, identification, we call it PPC. Whenever you pay for people to engage with your ad, it's called PPC. So the most popular ones are Facebook and Google Ads, but all other platforms do have a similar kind of platform to use. So again, we discussed search engine marketing. You see these ads on top where they kind of show these products that are relevant to your search query. So the search term was Nike shoes for men. So you see all these ads. Some are for Nike shoes, some are for other brands. So they're still relevant. So Google would show these. And then right below them, you see an ad from Agio. And they kind of list it with also an offer and some other text as well. So all of this that you see here is an ad that you can make using Google's platform called Google Ads. And Google is by far the most popular search engine in the world. Like 95% of users in most countries use Google. A small percentage does use Bing, but I guess that's because it comes pre-installed on a lot of devices. So people end up using that thinking that it's Google. It's usually the senior citizens that do it. But yeah, it's still a tool, and people advertise on Bing as well because there are people searching on Bing. So the reason why search engine marketing is the most popular in terms of spending online for digital marketing is because you can capture a user when they are in the mindset of buying something. So when somebody's searching for Nike shoes for men, he isn't doing that just to have a look at the pictures or just to appreciate the beauty. He is doing this with an intention to buy. That's most likely the case. And that's why you have so many people competing to show him what he can buy. And because he is in that mindset, he is in that phase of the buying cycle where he wants to buy it, he is most likely to convert during the next few minutes or hours. So they're trying to hit it when the iron is hot. So here we're talking about the ad campaign types that we have on Google, what kind of ads that you can create. So just a brief overview. Search is what we just saw. Somebody is searching on Google. So whatever ads they see, the bottom one, especially this one that you saw here, this is a search ad. And the one that says shopping here, that's the one that you saw on the top. These are shopping ads. So basically you list all your products that you want to sell on your website using an e-commerce tool. And then Google takes data from that, takes the image data from that, and kind of shows the ads to users this way. As you can see, Amazon is dominant when it comes to retail. So mostly you will see ads from Amazon, but you have other websites as well that compete. And these are shopping ads, basically. So we just saw search and shopping, and then there's display. So if you're on other websites, like for example, you are on a news website, say it's Times of India. So sometimes you see these ads on these websites as well. So those are ads from different platforms, but mostly it's from Google because that's the most popular display ad platform out there. So you can create image ads or even text ads, and you can specify the kind of content you want to target or the kind of people you want to target. And then Google will automatically filter those out and display your ads on those websites. And there are multiple people competing for those spots. So basically whoever's ad is most relevant and whose ad has a higher quality score and more cost per click that you set, these are the factors that determine whose ad is going to show up more often on these websites. So that's the display ad category. And then you can also promote your apps or you can promote videos that you have. So for example, if you have a video of your product or your service that you want to promote, you can promote it using this feature where your ads will show before a YouTube ad, before a YouTube video plays. So you've probably seen that a lot on YouTube. Whenever you start a video, there's an ad that shows up. So that's basically the video ad. And this is what you can use to make those ads. So on Facebook, again, it's a different kind of advertising. So in Google, especially when it came to search and shopping, it was more focused on, plucking the low-hanging fruit, basically. So you know someone is already in the market to buy something, and then you show them that ad at that very moment to kind of make them buy. But on Facebook, it's more of a passive thing. So you're not on Facebook actively looking for something to buy. So you're just browsing through your feed, reading news, or looking at what your friends are up to. And then these ads, show up based on your likes and your, whatever your profile is. And then if they sound interesting to you, they catch your attention. A lot of times they don't. So, but in many cases they do. You find an interesting ad, you click on it, you see what it's promoting, and then, if you like it, you buy it. If you like the service, if you think you really need it, you go for it. So that's basically what Facebook is used for. So the ads are primarily shown on the news feed, and whoever you specify is what what Facebook is going to show your ads to. And then they also have different kinds of, objectives that you can select in terms of your ads, and that's how the ad will be displayed to the user. So for example, if you want to, create awareness, so these are the two kind of goals that you can have: brand awareness and reach. So brand awareness is where you want to kind of highlight your brand and, show people that you are in this segment, this is what you offer. And reach is potentially telling how many people you want to reach. So the idea is to get to as many people as possible within a short amount of time. And that's what reach is all about. So it's about creating awareness among your target audience. Consideration is the second stage of marketing. So basically, these are three stages of marketing. So where you think most of your target audience is at this moment is where you should start off. So consideration is where you want people to actually do something on your website and not just be, made aware of your services. So all of these things: traffic, engagement, app install, video views, lead generation, and messages, these are used to kind of engage with users. So when you say traffic, that means you want people to come to your website, and you get them to install an app or view a video. Facebook even has this lead generation ad type where you actually fill out a form right in the ad and get in touch with the company who's make that ad. So you want people to kind of give you their information so that you can contact them and continue with the sale process. And then messages is where you can actually get them to message you, and then you engage with them that way. So anything which has an engagement objective in it will kind of lead to the final part, which is conversions. And if you already think that your business is quite popular and you just need to, remind people of, just visiting you and buying, then the conversion goal is what you need to choose. So you tell people that, hey, you can just get this product you're already aware of, and showcase your product in all its glory with all the different images, even a video that kind of shows what your product is about, and then you can get the people to come to your website and make that purchase. Similarly, on Twitter, you can place your ads to kind of boost your post. Like I said earlier, these companies are restricting the kind of organic reach you used to have earlier. So since that's going down year on year, they're expecting that more people will now spend money to get their posts as much reach as possible. So that's what these ads are about. So they can promote hashtags and also links to your website. And that's what you can do on Twitter. You can have a post and then an image as well as a link to wherever you want those people to go. So that's how you can do it on Twitter. Again, they have these really strong tools where you can specify what kind of people you want to target. And it's quite similar to the Facebook demographic targeting. On LinkedIn, like I said, it's it's a professional network where people are not there casually and not browsing some memes or entertainment videos. They're there for a purpose, and their mindset is very, very professional and business oriented. So at that time, the kind of ads that you want to show these people will have to kind of center around those kind of themes, basically. So two kinds of popular ways of doing this is, sending messages directly in their inbox on LinkedIn. So as you can see here in this example, you'll see this link that says sponsored, and then I'm sure many of you have received these messages on LinkedIn. So when they feel that your profile is relevant to whatever demographic and qualification and location that they've specified in their ad campaign, the ad will show to you. And you can also promote your content. This comes back to the content promotion, content marketing part, where a lot of times people have these articles that they write on LinkedIn, and then it just has a limited reach like other platforms, but you need to kind of promote it using their ad platform so that it reaches as many people as possible. Affiliate marketing, let's quickly go over this. We already discussed that this is promoting someone else's product for a commission. So that's basically how you understand it. But only this time you basically use a link or a promo code. And whenever somebody buys using your link or your code, the merchant will automatically, give you a share in that sale. And all these platforms, you have affiliate marketing platforms that kind of facilitate this. And so it's basically a marketplace between marketers and these producers of products that you kind of promote. So it's basically a collaboration between two people, and that's how affiliate marketing is done. But yeah, if this is good if you are understanding and learning marketing to kind of make money on your own. This is a good way to do it. The other aspects are if you want to promote it for someone else, or you want to find a job for a company or an agency, then that is more relevant because that's the kind of marketing that you will be doing rather than affiliate marketing. Okay, so there are certain networks like ClickBank. This was one of the oldest, like in the mid 2000s, it was quite popular. A lot of people were promoting products from ClickBank and getting their commissions. It's really competitive because a lot of these products do give out good commissions. A lot of people are already marketing those products on the major channels out there. So it's just who does the better marketing will get the better share. So it's quite competitive. And these are the top platforms that you can use and networks that you can use to get into this. A lot of people, what they do is if they have a popular, say, YouTube channel, if they're an influencer, or if they have, say, a good blog that gets a lot of traffic, they can post these links, review these products and post the link, which is their affiliate link. And whenever somebody clicks on their link and ends up buying, they get a commission. So you can do that for products on Amazon as well. You can review them, you can share your thoughts on them in a YouTube video or an Instagram post. Then these links can actually get people to buy and thereby get you some money. Email marketing is all about directly communicating with your audience. You go straight to their inbox without them going to you. So it's basically kind of like a reminder marketing, and it doesn't cost you money because it's just going to their inbox and they're clicking on the links that's already there in the email. So this isn't as passive as social media. And the reason is because when somebody opens their email, they're usually reading with intent. So when they see a message that's relevant to them, especially if the message addresses them personally, those kind of emails actually get a lot of traction, and you are 40 times more likely to gain a new customer through email marketing than through Facebook or Twitter. So it's really important to kind of tie all of this together. When you have a comprehensive marketing campaign, without email marketing, a lot of money is potentially wasted because you're not getting back to your customers and reminding them that, hey, this is a product that you potentially like. Why don't you try it out? Or why don't you buy it? If you have, you can entice them with new features or new offers, discounts, or even a return policy that's really good. And that's how you just keep engaging with your audience. And the best part is you can actually segment your audience in emails as well, based on what they've bought on your website, what kind of interests they have. And that makes the messaging in your email more relevant and the results more effective. So the types of emails that you might want to send here are blog subscriptions, follow-up emails to website visitors who downloaded something, welcome emails. So a lot of times you have these emails coming in when you sign up for a service or on a website. So that's when they actually get your permission to send you these promo emails later on, just in case you don't convert. So when you convert, you actually go to a different bracket of someone who's converted. So they let you off the hook for a while, and then they pitch you something else. So there's always some marketing to be done. So this is basically how the list is built and what the purpose. Again, like I just said, personalization of emails is something that helps you get a better response rate. Emails with personalized subject lines are 26% more likely to be opened. So if you have an email that says hello and then you have your name mentioned on there, you're more likely to notice that. Even if you don't open it, you at least notice it. And if you open it and then the email is something that's relevant to you, you are likely to, react to that and do what what the advertiser wants you to do. Again, segmentation, we just spoke about that. You can segment your customers based on what their interests are and what they do on your website, and basically you can expect a better response. So a good example here is like you can split customers based on what they bought. So say for example, you sell sports equipment, someone purchased a football. So you can segment these people based on their interests, and then for someone who purchased a football, for example, you can pitch in football later on, the relevant product for him. So that's segmentation. The best email marketing tools. So Mailchimp is the global leader in terms of what people use to get their email marketing across. There are other tools as well, but I guess Mailchimp is something that people can start off with, and it has really powerful features, scheduling as well, and basically using these tools will make sure that you don't spam people, and then it helps you avoid going into their spam box. So that's one of the challenges of email marketing. When you do that, a lot of times your emails will end up in the user's spam or bulk folder. So you want to make sure that you avoid words that makes Google filter those kind of emails into the bulk folder. So that's all part of email marketing training. When you take that, you will understand what to do and what not to do. So that's about it when it comes to digital marketing. Now, a quick review of what a digital marketer does. We'll look at that. If you have any questions about what we've discussed so far, just let me know. I'll try and answer any questions.
फोन की आवाज आ रही मेरे
Let me just mute anyone who's not talking. All right. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So I'm going to discuss duties, what a digital marketer is expected to do, and it ties in basically to what we've discussed so far. So it's basically driving brand awareness, and the purpose of that is to get more business. So be it lead generation or actual sales on your website, that is what your ultimate objective is. And you tie all of that, all of those efforts that you do in terms of creating awareness, consideration, and also, the conversion phase, all of that ties into your ultimate goal of finding out whether your marketing efforts are paying off or not. So all of these different channels that we spoke about, they have specific KPIs that you need to look at. KPIs are key performance indicators. These are metrics that you see to assess how each channel is doing. So let's just go to them really quickly. So one thing that you notice when you start a career in digital marketing, if you're working for small companies or smaller teams, you'll notice that you tend to do a lot more tasks than what you would do in a larger company. So larger companies typically assign specialists for each platform. So big companies like, if it's like Pepsi or those kind of companies, when they're doing their marketing, each aspect of marketing will have a dedicated person for it. And the reason is because they have really huge budgets for these platforms. And because there's so much data coming in, there's so much testing, and there's so much content that is being put out, what they do is they have these specialists for each segment. So Google Ads, you have a specialist for that. For Facebook, they have another guy who's taking care of it. So this is typically what you see in big companies, but in smaller ones, like if it's a small clinic that's running their marketing operations, they'll usually hire one guy to take care of everything because the budget is small. So there's not a lot of data to look at. So that person can actually manage multiple things at the same time. So the SEO manager, the main KPIs is organic traffic. How do you measure success as an SEO manager? You see how much organic traffic you brought to the website, and that is your key performance indicator when it comes to SEO. So, and then you kind of collaborate with other people like email marketing and content creation, because all that is free traffic. You want to make sure that people are coming to your website. You using all the free sources, you count that as organic traffic as opposed to paid traffic. So that's how you measure success for an SEO manager. For content marketing, the success is measured in terms of how much time a user spends on the page, the overall traffic that's coming to your blog, to your content, and how many subscribers you get, how many likes. These are the things that tell us the kind of reach and reaction you've had to your content, and basically that's how you measure it. And the ultimate objective is basically to get people to know what you're offering and get them to convert as a sale on your website. Social media, the same thing: follows, impressions, and shares. These are the metrics that you look at and understand how your social media is going. If your followers are increasing, your impressions, the number of times people share your posts, and the kind of reactions and the buzz that you create through social media, how many mentions you get. These kind of things are what you look at to see how your social media performance is going, and whether it's going up or down. Then kind of take note of what can be improved, and then work on that. Digital marketing manager. Here again, this is arguably the most goal-driven aspect of digital marketing, is the digital marketing manager role, where you actually look at the ultimate goal of getting sales and ROI. So ROI means return on investment. So basically, if you're spending, say, 1 lakh rupees on a campaign, the digital marketing manager wants to make sure that you make more from that campaign. So you get your original investment back, and then you make more out of that investment. So that's your return on investment. So that is how you kind of gauge how your overall marketing is going, and you kind of see how your cost for each campaign is, which campaigns are not working well, which ones are doing well, where to focus more, where to reduce your efforts, where to cut costs. All of these things are what a digital marketing manager would do, and it's all about testing and seeing what kind of things get you, the most leads and the most sales. And of course, it's about, being aware of new techniques, new technology, what people are doing, because a lot of times the competition is cutthroat. So you want to make sure that you are on top of your game, and see what your competition is doing. A big part of digital marketing is studying your competitors, see what they're doing, what kind of advertising they have, what kind of offers they have, what kind of landing pages they're sending users to, and all that is something that you can learn from, and further develop your own digital marketing campaigns. So what you need to be a good digital marketer is the ability to learn and adapt quickly, because this is a really technology-driven marketing endeavor. So you need to make sure that you're on top of your game, what the new features are, what features have been taken away, what you can do, what kind of techniques work best, what's not working good these days, what kind of landing pages are good, what kind of websites really drive engagement. You really need to be out there and learn and adapt quickly as the market changes, and basically sharpening your axe from time to time. And you also need to have a good analytical mind. There's so much data that you work with that you need to be able to kind of declutter all of that and filter out what really matters, and base your marketing decisions on what you actually see in terms of the actual data. So you need to have a good analytical mind. You need to be able to work with data really well. And That's an important aspect of it. Multitasking, like I said, if you're working for small companies, you might have to do a lot of work across the board, and not just one platform that you're managing. Doing one thing is a bit easier than managing multiple platforms at once. So as a digital marketer, this kind of ability is really necessary to be able to have a successful career in digital marketing. So if you're able to multitask, this is for you. If you're not, then you probably will have to work on that and get yourself up there. And lastly, creativity. Creativity is something that's needed, especially when you are drafting an ad, creating a message, designing an image. All these things require creativity. So gone are the days when just a simple message about, hey, I have shoes here, come and buy them. That doesn't work anymore because there are so many other people doing it. The idea is to use your creativity and make your message stand out. If it stands out, that way you can get more attention to your ads, get more people to visit your website, and get more sales. Because if you're just going to blend with the crowd, then a lot of times you're just going to be looked over, and someone else with a better ad will take all the good deals away. So creativity is important. And again, this ties with testing. You don't have to get it right in the first go. And that's what the next point is about. It's about failing and experimenting. So never be afraid to fail in your tests and your experimentation in your ads. You can have an ad that does really bad. That's not a problem. You can change that very quickly and get another advertising messaging across with different focus areas, and you can test those against each other, and you continually do that until you hit the sweet spot, and then you kind of know what really works and resonates with your audience base. And testing basically is an ongoing process. So you're testing your ads, your images, your videos, your content, and even your website, what kind of landing pages you're sending people on, what kind of messaging you have. You even test two different types of landing pages. You send traffic equally between two pages and see which page actually gets you better results. That's how you continually learn and experiment. And there's a lot of failure that will happen, but it's part and parcel of digital marketing. So, and lastly, the easiest way to learn is to do it yourself. Uh, Theory might sound intimidating, but I personally feel that doing it yourself is much easier and helps you learn a lot quicker. So anybody who's interested in getting into this, you don't really need to be hired by a company to actually get into this. You can learn it yourself. All of these resources are available online in terms of learning how to make Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn. Everything is online in terms of learning and understanding this. And you can always create free blogs, free websites, and you can test these techniques and see what works best. So finally, in terms of what kind of career scopes you have, we just discussed the different roles and their KPIs, but there are different paths that you can choose. You can learn digital marketing, something that's of a personal benefit to everyone. I would say personally, you don't really need to be a job seeker to get into this, because whatever you're doing in life, be it your own personal business or something that you are passionate about, you can use digital marketing to your advantage, and you can promote what you're doing. You can get the word out. And so at a personal level, you can do this. But if you're planning to make this your career, then yes, there are certain ways that you can do it. You can become a freelancer, number one. And there's a lot of potential there. There are many websites from around the world that actually list these projects for freelancers who are trained in digital marketing, that they can actually apply to those projects, short-term, long-term projects, and start making a name for themselves. And usually the start is a bit difficult, so you need to build trust initially because you don't have a history to show people that, hey, look, I've done so many projects, hire me for this now. So usually it's much easier once you have some background to show. But the first step is difficult, but it's not impossible. All those who are in the market right now started off with the first step. So inshallah, that's something that you can do. Then there are other ways you can actually get yourself hired with, okay, let me just put this down a bit. on LinkedIn, you can see, okay. Can you see my screen, the LinkedIn screen here? So what I'm showing here is on LinkedIn, you can actually search for jobs the same way you search for jobs on Naukri. And there are plenty of companies who are hiring interns as well. So if you have the base knowledge, they're not going to hire you and train you completely, but they just want you to have the base knowledge. So a lot of these listings that you see are for internships. So if you can just search for digital marketing internships, you have a lot of opportunity there as well. If you have experience, then you have more opportunities than you can tap into. You can work for agencies who actually do this for other companies, and you can work as an account manager or a campaign manager and manage these marketing campaigns for different companies under an agency. Or you can also be hired as a digital marketing manager for a company that's into some other business, but they want someone to manage their digital part in-house, basically. So a lot of companies prefer in-house rather than outsourcing it to an agency. In either case, it's opportunity for digital marketing professionals, and you can definitely tap into this as well. So that's about it. I think if you guys have any questions, I'm open, inshallah. Okay, where do I? So any questions?